Welcome to the Secret Friendship. Oh, no. Let's try that again. Mark, take a note. Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 116. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I am one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra from beautiful Sauvage, Minnesota, who survived a movie theater to watch the Xbox showcase with $10 credit and did not buy the Optimus Prime Convoy Pack popcorn bag from AMC. Joined by Mark, the Canadian Carabin, who secretly bought a 2022 Transformer.
Yes,
enjoy that.
I wish my new car was a Transformer. That'd be great. I would very much enjoy that. Aside from the battles that would probably bring to my house, still waiting on insurance to kind of fix some hurricane damage. I can't imagine some Decepticon damage rolling up on my joint and being like, we're after that escape in your driveway. We're just going to blow some shit up for a little bit. It'd be a little bit menacing. But aside from that, I think it'd be cool to have a big robot best friend from space.
Well, you get like the Autobot who can't drive, so it's like yourself, automated a car. He didn't pass his driver's test, so it's not even going to help you, Mark.
That would be my luck, 100%. Yeah.
And we are joined by a good friend of the show, Mr. Badbit, who has not been on apparently in 2 years of the Co-op Mode. It's kind of crazy.
It's crazy how I've been on Secret Friends Unite more than this. That shouldn't be legal. And if you've been listening to Secret Friends Unite, you're like, I just heard you last week. What are you talking about?
I know. It's so crazy. Charlie has only trusted certain people that I brought on the show. And it's like, once they're in, he's like, they're in. So, Joe, you should feel blessed. Everybody else is like, they're off the list, Oxtra. They're on the bad list. Charlie has lists, by the way. Mark probably knows this.
I haven't been
Mark's not on the list.
Back on Secret Friends Unite, so that'll tell you something.
I got brought on Holocron for some reason. So Mark obviously, must have gone insane. So there we go. Well, Joe, thank you. The PS Trophy Room. By the way, a little nit to pick. You're talking about, expanding your Discord group. I cannot find a damn link to the damn Discord group. Joe, get a link tree out there, man. I looked at all your stuff. Get it out there because people want to join and have a good time with your content and your group. So please do, because I was going to join. I thought, I'm already in this group. I can't find it. My God.
Link in the description. Every podcast. Link
I was looking at your Twitter or
We need to start doing better at scheduling tweets. It's actually one of the things that I got to talk to Kyle about. We have meetings on the trophy room. We're that big. We have production meetings. Humble brag. I get made fun of every time I say it, but we need to start promoting that Discord more and more because honestly, it keeps growing. And, the community is just becoming more and more amazing. So y'all should join it as well. Of course, that's the Trophy Room PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. Each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation. Look at me, just that right off the cuff, really fast.
Goodness, it's your Rain Man. It just triggered and it comes out.
Exactly. Honestly, I don't even think it anymore. It just started going, and I'm like, just might as well.
He's got one of those strings in his back, like the old toys that you pull it.
Exactly.
I got a snake in my boot. Welcome to the Trophy Room.
That's the other one. Yeah.
That's a good one. We were in a work conference call and somebody did that and I laughed and somebody else didn't get it. So, oh well, good times. And by the way, you know what? I've been doing this so many times. And Mark, if you choose to edit it at the beginning that I didn't do it right, it's your choice. Dealer's choice, my friend.
That's all right. I'm going to leave the blooper in there. We'll see.
Okay, well, good. Go there. So this is going to be a fun show. This is the Keigh3 and the shows of summer. So we are wrapping up a big year. We did PlayStation a couple weeks ago, so we're not incorporating that. And we are still left with we're still Nintendo lists for the summer, but everybody else is pretty much taken care of. So we're going to talk about that, go in deep and have a good time. But before we do that, we want to thank the people that make this podcast so much fun, and they make this possible. And that is our Patreon Secret Friends Squad. So, Mark, if you want to introduce those folks, that'd be great.
Absolutely. We've got our Best Bud tier, Jamie Prinky right there, and the BFF tier, Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias, Missy Merchant, and Andy Milliken. I also have to mention that we now offer a free 7-day trial for Patreon. So if you want to check it out, you want to see the exclusive shows, you want to see what it's all about before you drop $1 in that little tip jar, you can head over to patreon.com/SecretFriendsUnite and just try it all out. Try it out for free. Check out the shows, check out all the exclusive stuff, and go from there.
And just a little preview of a new show that is coming out on Patreon that is exclusive, and that's going to be a show called Fansplaining, like other terms, but it's going to be where I invite someone on the show that is a huge fan of something, and they explain why they're a fan, how they became a fan, and kind of like what they would recommend, and maybe something new that's part of that franchise. And if I'm not aware of the franchise, maybe I come a little bit smarter about it. Something that I've wanted to do, get people that are big into something, maybe that is a blind spot. My first one is going to bring back someone that used to be a big part of Secret Friends Unite. I haven't talked to them forever. They're going to come on, and hopefully they'll bring me back into the world of Transformers. So we're going to talk about Transformers, Rise of the Beasts, and everything Transformers. So watch for that. That'll be coming out very, very soon.
Speaking of Transformers and Patreon.
Absolutely. New segment with our Patreons. It's called Patreon Questions, 1 Minute Answers. So we basically have 1 minute to contain ourselves because this podcast is known for doing one thing, Mark, and that's going on way too long. I can't stop talking. Neither can Mark. I'm worse, but Mark tries to contain me. So with that, first question from Stella. This is for you, Mark. I'm answering it to you. Stella says, Mark, are you playing the Transformers Fortnite chapter? Joe, you're also a Fortnite player, so this is open to you as well. 1 minute starting now.
Short answer is yes for me. Joe?
Yeah. I have not. I would like to, but Diablo has taken over my whole entire life. Also, though I would love to play Baby Optimus, I got Miles Morales now, and I'm never going to switch that skin. So that's it.
The short answer for me is yes, because I have Fortnite Crew, so I have the battle pass, everything's all paid for. Have I really been playing it? Not really. I've played 1 or 2 matches since the season started, kind of got into Diablo. I was going to play the other night and then got super distracted by Pokemon Home. You'll hear about that later. But I am excited to get to level 100, unlock Optimus. I did not buy Optimus Primal, but yes, short answer is I will be playing more as the season goes, but right now I'm distracted and haven't really put time into it.
You kept a minute. Good job, gentlemen. Next question is open to everybody really quick. Sean and Henry said, with Nintendo having no show and facing next-gen competition, where does this leave them? Very quickly, round robin, each person gets a minute.
I got it. I'll take this first. They'll announce it probably in September. It'll probably come out sometime next year. Their next gen Nintendo Switch, whatever they call it, whether it's a Pro or a 2. But with the next gen hardware, we got to keep into perspective that the Steam Deck, while powerful and as cool as it is, has only sold over 1 million units, and Nintendo is looking to topple the PS2 number. I think they're currently at somewhere of the 120 plus million. So though this cool tech is cool, they're really comfortable right now. They don't really got to do much.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a minute?
Yeah, you got it.
Pretty close. Yeah, and that's why I think you're wrong. I think they're not going to announce anything new in September. I think they're going to ride this holiday season with some bundles, with some deals, some sales, undercut the competition, and not ruin the chances of selling another couple of million Switches this holiday season. So I don't think Nintendo's worried too much, because I think they're going to ramp up the marketing again for old Pokemon games, Zelda games, all that kind of stuff, and just ride out the holidays with some bundles. Metroid, exactly. And I think we'll get an announcement early next year after the holiday sales are done, and they'll piss off everyone that bought for Christmas.
Yeah, that makes sense. That could make sense, yeah.
Very good. You kept a minute. I will give mine very quick. We are going to duplicate the launch of the Switch. We're going to get announced in January, essentially, where they're going to show the device, maybe show some titles, and they're going to launch that thing in March before their end of the fiscal, or they're going to get in maybe a little bit later. But that's what they're going to do, and they are going to essentially, they've saved up all their games because we haven't seen any big ones past Pikmin. They're saving all their big games because they want to have a steady flow of new games coming out of the system, and those games may be backwards compatible with the old Switch, but they will definitely be better to play on the new Switch. I don't know if there'll be any new Switch exclusive games or whatever we call it, and I expect that the Joy-Cons may be backwards compatible, but I don't think they have to be. I think we could get something different, but I think it's same form factor, but more enhancements. So there you go. All right. So patrons, this is one of the benefits. You get our dumb answers to your great questions. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If we're wrong, let us know and we'll ignore it. Sorry. No, I didn't mean that. We will answer and listen and take notes. But with that, probably my favorite part of the show, because I get to be annoying and Mark gives me looks. And that is buy, rent, return. If you're going to Blockbuster, you had a choice and you'd pick a game and you were allowed to buy, rent, return because you loved it, hated it, and never wanted it back. This is your choices for video game bosses. I'm not talking about like Bowser and Ganon and I don't know, Duck Hunt Dog. He's a boss, right? If you could take him down. We had him last month. He was a jerk. But we're talking real bosses, and maybe real bosses, kind of real bosses, bosses in my way that actually lead the company. So I picked 3, current and past as well. Doug Bowser, current head of Nintendo of America, a man that we only see that when he accepts awards from other people at the Games Awards. But he's got the best name in the biz, so what do you say? Peter Moore, he was the guy really at the heart of the 360, known for his tattoos, Halo 2, Grand Theft Auto, love him to pieces. I believe he's like running like FIFA or something now. Loved him. He's a British guy.
Soccer, football club.
Football club versus, yeah, he was great. He went to EA for some time, but I always love Peter. He actually he was the guy behind the Dreamcast as well. He was like the marketing guy too. So I love Peter with Xbox. And then Kevin Butler, you know what? He's the boss we always wanted. He's the boss we always needed. And unfortunately, he's the boss we really never got. But you know what? He was an advertisement, so I count him for real with PlayStation 3, I believe, is when they brought him along with the kid from the PSP. Marcus, was that his name? Joe?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So there you go, folks. We're going to start with our guest. Joe, of these bosses, who would you buy, who would you rent, and who would you return?
I am buying Kevin Butler. He was the funniest son of a gun. And I think he was perfect marketing for the PS3 back in the day, man. It's such a mistake as well for PlayStation to drop him the way they did, just because he was in a commercial and he was playing a Nintendo Wii at the time. So dumb, because all the commercials with him, he absolutely slayed. When they had him out there on E3 just goofing off, like, he was awesome. Yes, and yes. I would rent Doug Bowser. No, I'm going to return Doug Bowser. You know what? Stop taking credit for your devs and stop reading the backs of the box of the game when you're accepting the award. I'm sorry. I'm sick of it. I bet you're a nice guy, but you'll be fine. And then I'm going to rent Peter Moore, because you know what? There is something about the Peter Moore aura that I like. So Peter Moore kind of tells it like it is as well. Like I remember there was one time on stage, he's like, "Listen, this game's not going to sell. I'll give it to you for free, whatever." Something like that. Like, he's awesome. He
Off
kind of
the
just
handle.
yeah, he's off the handle. So yeah, Peter Moore, let's go.
All right, Mark.
I'm going to pick by Peter Moore for that exact reason, because it was a close call between him and Kevin Butler for the buy.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm going with Peter Moore because he's real.
Is he though? We don't know. Maybe he's fake. Well, maybe, we don't know.
Kind of real-ish. I like that he is a real CEO, but still has that goofy, you don't know what he's going to say, kind of like spontaneous personality, where like Kevin Butler's like scripted ish, like still probably flying off, but like can't really affect real change. So that's my buy. My rent is going to be Kevin Butler, and my return is Doug Bowser, because you can't follow up Reggie with someone with the best name ever for a video game person, let alone a Nintendo person. I mean, Bowser's in charge of Nintendo. Come on, it writes itself. And he is the most boring, like, If he was a spice, he'd be mayonnaise. Like, just come on. And I just fail. I'm sure he's fine as like a business head kind of, but like as a public personality, I just meh.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, very fair.
Todd.
Oh, all right. I think I'm taking notes. So I'm buying Peter Moore because he is the exec that leaves the ship and always goes to something better. Because he left Dreamcast, a system everybody loved, but nobody would buy because PlayStation just said, hey, just wait for us. You'll enjoy that system better. It sucked to be him. Dream has a great system. Peter was great. He then went to Xbox on 360, the most successful Xbox platform. He did awesome things. Once again, the tattoo, he was cocky. He got Grand Theft Auto exclusive on the console, and he left when he knew it was time to leave. And now, like, once again, he's doing something where he doesn't have to deal with, like, gaming fans. Now he's like, probably running a football club, having a good time, like Ted Lasso. I mean, he might be the husband of the I'm blanking on his name, Giles from Buffy the that might be based on Peter Moore for all we know. That could be him.
Really
that could be
not,
him.
Man, that'd be
we hope not. But Peter Moore, he's always in it. He's great. He's done great interviews and he doesn't hold back. So I love Peter Moore. Kevin Butler, just for the fact that he is who we want to be behind PlayStation. We want somebody charismatic, cool, gets it, and is in charge. And we have not had that in a long, long time. Seems like we get guys that are a little bit weird and odd that are still kind of endearing. And then we've got our current guy, Jack, Jim, whatever his name is, James, that guy. We don't want him, and PlayStation struggles. So there we go. But Kevin was great. He was the man that we wanted. He is the Michael Scott of video game heads, and we want him. So he's the man we need. And then lastly, Doug Bowser. I mean, I think you guys have hit all the pieces, but the fact is, he didn't create the Bigfoot pizza that Reggie was known for. He didn't play video games with Jeff Keighley on his old show on Spike TV. I mean, Doug Bowser, I don't even know what he does. And maybe that's why we want him, because he can do the job, never has to do anything important, doesn't make decisions, and just gets paid heavily. And he just shows up for word presentations. So I don't know. Maybe he's got the best job in the world. I mean, I'm jealous. But yeah, Dougie B. Yeah, there you go. We're returning him.
You don't always have to have a big personality to lead a company. Like, I look at something like Steve Jobs versus Tim Cook, and like Steve Jobs, like the visionary, Steve Jobs, reality distortion kind of thing. And like, he could sell whatever he wanted to and make you believe it was the best thing. And Tim Cook's not that guy. Like, he's not in your face bombastic kind of thing. Like, Tim Cook came from supply chain and logistics. He is a fantastic leader of a company. The stocks for Apple, just kept on going. But like, as far as big visionary stuff, like, he's not the guy. He delegates that, and he's fine. But you'll notice, like, Apple presentations, like, he doesn't do much of these. Like, he'll do the intro and be like, "I'm super excited to show you this. Here's someone else to."
Here's Johnny Ive. Here's Johnny Ive, and Kojima.
Just ecstatic about selling you this watch. Yeah.
So very.
I do like a mean Tim Cook impression. Like, I'm really good at it.
Wait, how can you how can you do that? Because I don't even know anything you get
because
from
I'm
it.
just walking in a garden and I'm just selling you products.
Oh,
and these are revolutionary products and designs by our teams at Apple. And we will upcharge you $300 to $400 and you'll love it.
I love that.
I love it. Yeah.
That's great.
And we know
cadence.
And it is. It's so great. And Joe, if anybody's going to do he's going to be able to do an impression, it's you. So appreciate bringing that to the table. And I will say this: Nintendo of America, we know that's not all they do is they run lawyers to sue people and do translations. That's it.
Probably
that's all NOA does. Yes.
On those poor people who are just trying to just keep the game preservation scene alive. He's like, sue them into oblivion.
They put Dolphin on Steam. Get it out. That's what he's doing. He's just looking at Steam entries all day. He's like, what? Somebody posted a ROM on archive.org.
Dolphin on Steam, and he just takes out a gun, cocks it. Where's their house?
He swats them. He sends out swats for them.
Just the John Wick of video game CEOs, but we don't know about it because he straight up murders people that do illegal stuff.
Oh my god.
I like it.
Oh my goodness. Oh well.
Actually, with a bald head, he's a hitman.
Absolutely, yeah. He goes in, he puts on costumes, pretends to be somebody else, he shoots them and leaves. Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We did
mustache.
Get a really bad pencil-thin mustache. Yes.
It's just those plastic little, like, the glasses with the mustache.
It's really thick.
Big nose. Like Salvador Dali.
It's like the big bushy ones, like the cowboy in Looney Tunes. What was his name?
Yosemite Sam. Or Dr. Robotnik.
Yep, that's what he's rocking.
I like it.
God. We did get some Patreon fans and our Discord members to give us a shout out on these. So I'll take the first one. Mark, you take the second one. The Winter Gamer. Oh my goodness. Buy the shit out of Kevin Butler, whose persona will live on in gamers' hearts. True. Rent Peter Moore for under his watch. Some great games came out, and rent Doug Bowser and send him to jail for not utilizing his name better as the freaking president of Nintendo.
Brennan knows what's up. So the next one, Famous Seamus. Obviously, I'm buying Kevin Butler. I think I'm the odd one out here. There's no better executive, real or fake. Renting Doug Bowser. Wow, interesting choice because he seems like an all right guy. And that's the thing. Like, he's just a little boring publicly, and I think we judge him because of his name. Like, we expect
he's the dean on Community,
a marketing like showcase. Like, his last name makes him into a circus freak because he's like, oh, Bowser, what are you gonna do? Breathe fire? And he's like, no, I'm a friggin'
when was the last time he beat up Miyamoto on a Nintendo Direct for Smash Brothers?
Right. He's cursed by his own last name. If his name was Doug McDonald, we'd be just like, okay, cool, whatever, you figurehead. Like, let's go.
Doug Mario, that wasn't available.
I don't know why, Todd, but when you said the Dean on Community, I just remember one of the best lines in just a show ever is like the Dean's looking at something. I forget what it is, but the line of, this better not awaken something within me or inside of me.
So good.
I'm gonna look that up right now. Oh, that's too good.
Where was I? Oh, he seems like an all right guy. Return Peter Moore because he was the only one left, and he's not really familiar with his history. So yeah, Famous Seamus coming in with the honesty. Look up Love Peter Moore, interesting fella. Look back on some of the Xbox 360 launch stuff and some of the stuff he's done. I think you'll be a fan, but gotta respect just calling it like it is. Don't know who he is, so you're last.
Absolutely. That's quality guessing, and I like that. It's like when there's only Bubsy 3D left on the shelf. It's like, oh shit. Oh well. Moving on to what we've been playing, gentlemen. So we have one game in common this week. So let's talk about that game. So Joe, you probably have like 85 hours in Diablo 4. I think I have like 10. Mark, how many do you have?
Actually,
under 10.
Let's find out. I want to know for sure. I'm gonna turn on my PlayStation because I want to get. I don't want to lead you all astray here about what I have or what I haven't played of Diablo. But it's a lot. It's gonna take a minute, of course, to turn this bad boy on.
I do have one question.
To hear your thoughts. Yeah,
I do have one question because one of the things I want to do, because I did play co-op with a friend, Sean Nias. So we were playing. We had a great time. How do you add people on other consoles? Because I could not figure out how to do it. Do you have to go through like Battle.net to add people from Xbox and PC? So I'm not 100% clear. So if there's a guide, I'll probably have to look that up because we're thinking like, hey, we can bring Mark in and do that and have a good time. So
yeah, you just look up their Battle.net name and it'll tell you.
So someone who has not looked at their Battle.net name and probably, I think Sean was that person who's like, I don't know it. I haven't looked at it in like 10 years. I had to look at my Diablo account on Battle.net, look at them like, what class did I play on Diablo 3? Oh, I was a wizard. And those don't even exist anymore. So there you go. Yeah. So we'll figure this out.
63 hours of Diablo 4.
Have you beaten the game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you play primarily single player or co-op?
No, good mix. I honestly, this is one of the only games where I've had a good mix of co-op and single player. Where I would say m- probably most. I think single player would edge it out, but I've helped like Luke Lower, host of the expansion pass, and I'm dating his mother. I helped him through like countless
I heard it was your anniversary.
chapters. It is, yeah. Oh my god, I can't tell you what she was wearing. Absolutely nothing. But I was helping him like through a lot of this stuff too. So like I was just replaying a whole bunch of stuff as well. So I've played the crap out of this game, guys.
And that's a good point with this game, because I think what they've done is refine everything. It's console at the same time as PC for the first time, which is great. That's cross-play, cross-save. The only negative I've heard is if people are playing with you in the main quest line, if you're the main person or whatever, the person that created the crew, only you get progression in the story, which is only bad. So I'm not sure how they can fix that, but if they can fix that, that would be great, because most of the time, like when I played co-op, I was doing like side missions and just things off the grid just to get experience, but not doing the main quest. So is that what everybody's doing? Well, Joe, is that what you've been doing, or?
Yeah, I believe if you're on the same quest, you guys will have the like your progress will carry over. But if you're on Act 2 and your buddy's on Act 3, none of that's carrying over to the main game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but
you think like if I jumped in with Joe, I'm like, 5 hours into the game, or 10 hours or whatever. Like if I jumped in with you and you were at like end game, like I just skip the whole story and go right to the end game stuff. Like I get that decision.
And it does a really great job as well, just because you have like, let's just say you're level 1 and I'm level 57, right? If I enter your group, it does an excellent job of scaling enemies to each individual. So like they still have a chance of killing me as much as they have a chance of killing you. And I really dig that, because it makes the game much more cooperative, fun, because you're not just being ran through something. And that gets really boring. Yeah. So to me, I think they've done a pretty darn good job with this game, splicing co-op with the single player stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I remember playing that Diablo 3 with Sean. He was playing on his Alienware laptop, and I was playing on my PC that I just built, and it was a crappy experience, and that was the only way you could do it. And mouse and keyboard before I got carpal tunnel syndrome was not fun, and so it's been great to play it with controllers and have a great experience and just have really no barriers to play. So, Mark, I know Joe has just been eating this game up, but with yourself, with how you balance and how you play, are you new to Diablo? Is this something where you've dipped in before? Okay.
Yeah, I've dipped in before. I played the series a few times in the past. Most recently, was it 3 that just like came out on Switch a couple of years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, they dropped the Necromancer edition, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my brother and I played that one for a little while, and I just I played it solo for a bit too. So definitely not new to the series. I really haven't had a chance to put more hours in. The weekend was busy. Finn was sick. My wife was also finishing a game on the Xbox, so I was kind of, and I'll talk in a bit, finishing or doing some stuff on Switch, and just picking away at some stuff on the RG35XX, some old games, kind of beating through Super Mario World. I didn't add that to the show notes, but yeah. So that's really my only kind of thing is the Xbox wasn't free, and it was a busy, crazy weekend, and last week was crazy too. So I haven't really had a chance to put as many hours as I want to. But I was talking to like my brother has it, a couple of guys at work have it, a couple of people that my brother know. Like, so I've got people that are like, "Hey, we should play," and it's like yeah, okay, cool. Eventually.
What class is everyone playing?
Druid.
Sorcerer. Ice.
Necromancer.
Nice.
So, Joe, you like being a bear?
Whoa. Listen. Now you're starting to sound like my ex-wife. No. I'm no druid. But
Druid.
I will say,
Mark likes being a bear.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I've been rocking werewolf, lightning werewolf as my
Lightning
main werewolf
werewolf.
right now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's I've been kind of bouncing between those two skill paths a little bit because I like the werewolf just up close, and then lightning for just that Thor effect of this big because he kind of looks like Thor from Ragnarok and not like the God of War version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the classes are all a mix. Like I played Wizard in Diablo 3. So Sorcerer is the new magic user. Druid is a little bit of a mix of magic plus melee. And the Necromancer, I don't even know what it is. It's really like you're kind of support because you send out a bunch of undead. You have more support characteristics. I was debating between Druid and Necromancer. So that's where I kind of line up. And I think it's hilarious when you go into the village and you're just talking to normal people and you get this army of skeletons with you and it doesn't bother anyone. Isn't that a little odd?
Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, this is normal. Just gyms,
We're very accepting in the world of Diablo. You know what I mean? Like
That's true.
You are what you are. You are who you are. If you're a skeleton crew, cool.
Yeah. One of the things I liked is the experimentation of skills that you can use, and then you can apply those. What I haven't figured out is, can you just undo one, or is it all or nothing? So, like, if you committed to all your different things, and then you're like, I don't like that, I want to do different things, because I've done that a couple times with Necromancer. Is it that way? All or nothing?
No, you don't have to go like all or nothing. You can really mix and match your character to kind of play the way you want. So, like, for example, I know someone who's rocking like a fire and ice sorcerer. I'm rocking pure ice. There's nothing wrong with that in the slightest bit. And then they do this really cool thing after I think like level like 30 or so, where they're like, hey, at least for sorcerer, they're called enchantments, where it's like, hey, one of these spells you get to pick to be your passive ability that happens every 10 seconds. And that unlocks a whole new way of like DPS for me. So for example, my main ability is ice shards, where I shoot burst icicles out of my wrists. Now that becomes and the passive ability to it is when I shoot anything ice related, it ricochets and hits another enemy. So
like
I'm just shooting ice everywhere. You're seeing me zigzag all the things. So there's a lot of you could get into the weeds a lot with each and every character. And what Diablo does really well is it rewards you for that, but it doesn't punish you if you just want to casually run through the world and just blow shit up, So I forgot if I can't cuss or not, but like it doesn't punish you in the slightest bit. So that's what I love about Diablo. It's as welcoming as you want it to be so far.
Yeah.
There's a level of cursing when you see enough blushing and color of Todd's face changes. I think that's where we go, but we're good to go. Mark, so what about you? I mean, are you feeling like good with 10 hours in? I mean, have you beaten a boss, just going off in side quests? What's your path?
Yeah, so far, like I've reached that first big village. Can't remember the name of it, but that's basically what I've done so far. So I've done I've seen Lilith, I've seen the church on fire, I've met the people, I've done like the first little boss battle encounter, kind of whatever thing. Yeah, so I mean, I've been very much enjoying what I have played so far, and to Joe's point, I've really liked being able to even look at the different skill trees and kind of like go down in the list and be like, oh, this is going to happen later. I can't wait to see how this really affects me. Like trying to plan ahead and do the deep dive that way. But I also can kind of recognize that like, yeah, I could just kind of be like, okay, this is going here, this is going there, this is going there. Let me just kick some crap out of something. And like you can kind of play that as dumb as you want to or as deep as you want to. Like like you said, it's not like there's no wrong answers. And that's kind of what I like about this. And the same thing goes for classes. Like a lot of the time in these kind of games, I get hung up so bad on what class to pick. Am I going to pick the right one? Is this going to be way too difficult or way too easy or this, that, or whatever? And I watched a few videos before I started because I didn't like do the betas or anything like that. I just bought it
Yeah.
after it was released. And everyone was saying the same thing, like, really doesn't matter. Pick what you want. Like some kind of like a little bit better for the opening stuff, a little bit better towards end game, maybe. If you like playing this way, maybe lean towards this. If you like playing that way, maybe lean towards that. But like, there's no wrong answer. Like, just go in blind and just be like, that guy looks cool. I like the design of that. Like, that sounds neat. And go for it. So like, I'm probably going to start another character after a little while and just play with something different. Like, it just seems like a very, very well balanced and welcoming kind of game, and I'm really digging it.
Yeah,
So
it really is incredibly well balanced.
So based on like building on that, if you want to create like so Destiny, if you want to create a new character, you can create a new character anytime. You do have to build up and things like that. In this case, if you start a new character, you essentially start from scratch, start over, but you can have I don't know how many. I don't even know how many. Is it one of each class you can have, and that's it? So you could have 5, and then they could all have different, and you could bring them in at any time. So essentially, you could. So I'm like, I'm going to stop here, but I want to play around with my character. I can go build up that character with friends and do quests and things like that, and then go back to the main quest when I want to do that. So it is flexible. If you want to respec, I think it charges you like 20 gold. It's nothing. And that was more of my question: is it all or nothing? If I want to respec, is it everything gets respec, or is it one specific node? I'm assuming it's everything, right?
Yeah. For what I've done, it's all or nothing. Because every time they're like, oh, just this one point, and I press square, it's like everything's gone. I'm like, what the hell happened here? So
Jedi Survivor did that too, and that was like the one thing about that game that I think I would have changed. Like, they improved so much on Jedi Survivor over Fallen Order, but the skill tree was one that I was like, when especially later on in the game, when you pick up a new kind of lightsaber and you're like, I have all these skill points dumped into this thing that I'm not using anymore because I want this form. And it's like, do I really want to reset everything and like go back and do all this stuff with all these skills that like I was picking early game, and now it's late game, and I'm like,
they need to do better pacing in that, right? I mean, they need to, because like I got the coolest thing now, and I have no points because I put it all on the crappy thing.
But I like, there's certain things that I like where I went with my force powers, and it's like, so I'm like, do I take screenshots of everything and then like redo the ones that I like exactly how I did them? And it seemed like too much hassle, so I just kind of left it. But I think that kind of screws you over in like, I want to explore this new lightsaber form, but I also don't have a ton of points left. Do I grind and get more points, or do I just restart everything and like build my skill tree back up? So if there's like that little nitpick, but like otherwise super well balanced, like I think it's in a good direction. But I'm with you there. I wish you could just take one thing off of like, hey, maybe I don't want to be a lightning druid. Maybe I want to be a this kind of thing. Like, can I take those off lightning and put them in something without ruining my werewolf? Like,
it's almost like take a node that you've expanded and say, in that node, let me just start over from scratch versus shit. I'm going back and then like, what did I pick? I don't know. Oh, but one question. So I think the game's great. Really enjoying it. Love the co-op. If there was one thing you could change, and not destroying the game, what it would be at this point. I mean, Mark's really early on. I'm a little bit more than Mark. You're pretty much done, but you're still now playing more. What would it be?
Humble brag. There is nothing I would change right now. This game is pretty much this is it for me. Like, I'm addicted to this game. So
no Deckard Cain.
No Deckard Cain. Honestly, the one thing I would change, the story is it's really good. I enjoy where it goes, but it's super backloaded, kind of similar to Survivor. So the one thing I would do is kind of, because the first act is good, the second act is good as well, but like the third act kind of meanders. There's a little meandering through these acts. So I don't know. I would kind of pad the front of this game a bit, and give Lilith more screen time. So if the only negative thing is like I don't see Lilith enough, you got yourself a great game. But I will say that if you play it towards the very end, you are going to get one of the best cinematics in a video game.
Ooh,
They're
Just
beautiful.
all right.
just
And disgusting.
It's you guys haven't even it's so good.
I can't wait.
Don't play it on a
is
17-inch monitor, please.
yeah. It and so like as a Diablo fan, as I come in, like I know Diablo, I love the lore. I got hyped. Luke, who is a casual observer of Diablo, never got into it before 4. Even him, who knows very little of what's going on, he was just like, it's literally 10 to 12 minute cinematic.
Wow.
It's really excellent, and it's
How do you
shot
pause
like
that?
300.
How do you pause it? Because bathroom breaks, children, phones. How do you pause
watch
it?
again? Just watch it again.
Can you go back into? Is there a way to rewatch?
That's a good question. I don't know if there is. There should be, and if there isn't, just YouTube it. It's there.
Damn it! That's one of my
Dude,
developer
it's so
pet peeves. Allow me to pause cutscenes, please.
I didn't try to pause it, to be clear, because I was just like in awe of what I was seeing.
Joe, my wife knows when a cutscene is happening because she will call me up and something will happen. It's like her ESPN.
Yeah, just mute the phone. Don't worry, it could wait.
No, she's upstairs yelling at me. Mute my wife. Yes, Joe, I'll tell her that. Joe said just to mute you.
Life with a toddler. The second you think you're going to be able to watch something for 5 minutes and you think he's asleep, he's at the top of the stairs with a go-kart saying, "Hey, I'm Johnny Knoxville and welcome to Jackass." And
you see,
like, no, please be a
Mark,
podcast.
you're balancing like child's health and my enjoyment of media. Yeah,
anything. So that's I get you.
That's why none of y'all are selling me on fatherhood. Let me tell you,
it's great.
None of y'all.
The only thing I can say, Joe, the minimum level is hopefully they'll take care of you when you're old. That's about it. That's really the minimum barrier of entry. Hopefully it's there. Yeah.
So maybe if you're a good dad, they'll take care of you when you're 76 and you're
exactly.
Here's the thing, though.
You got one leg.
Exactly.
A toddler that is like, "Hey, I'm Johnny Knoxville, welcome to Jackass." Like, if you're not trying to like watch something or do something, that's the most entertaining stuff you will ever see. It's like,
yes,
he's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna test this out. Let's go." I just bought him a new slide a couple of days ago, and it was like he's using the slide regular. Then he goes halfway down the slide, and Superman leaps in the air, and then just like, "I didn't expect you to do that, kid, but that was awesome. You stuck that landing. Awesome. Let's go."
Enjoy your ER visit and your stitches.
It's great. It's great.
In Canada, healthcare is paid for. U.S., not so much. Mark, anything you change so far?
So far, not really. I did, talking to one of the guys that's playing at work. As someone who's played Diablo in the past, I kind of got the stylistic choice, but I couldn't say I disagreed with him. Where he wanted just a little bit of flexibility on the camera to be able to see how pretty things were or how gruesome things looked. You spend this time developing a character and then you kind of just see, like a top-down, pretty zoomed out version of it. And I want to get close up because the transformation from like druid to werewolf looks pretty gruesome, but you don't get that like up close kind of thing. So whether it's the first time you do it, you like it zooms in and really shows that like flesh burning off or like kind of like disgusting look like that it seems to be. But again, like the camera is a little bit back. So I wish they did a little bit more cinematically where they would show off how darn pretty this game is rather than being like, "Boom, here's the view from a drone 600 feet in the air." I get that as someone who knows the series, but at the same time, like, it looks very pretty on the Series X. Let me see the pretty, please. So I get that. And that, again, that wasn't something that I thought of right away. But talking to Andrew, it was like, yeah, I get that. Okay.
It's like your character in Destiny. It's like the only time you see your character in Destiny that looks really cool from all around is when you're at the the cathedral,
when you're in the menu looking at them. I
exactly.
definitely understand that. There are some. I mean, to me though, I like Diablo the way it is in terms of like that isometric view, that top-down look. Because if it's just still a third-person view, like it just changes how that combat looks.
Oh,
right?
and
So like,
I wouldn't want that. Like, I don't want this to be God of War, like third person
right,
style. I want that. I said, but I want like, I think it would be neat.
You want to
That's
zoom?
why I said like the first time you do something, or every once in a while, like it zooms down and it shows you that transformation, and
fair
like
enough.
the werewolf goes, and then it rips right back up to that isometric view. Like I don't want to change 99% of how this game looks or plays, but I wish that sometimes you could zoom in on a little bit of detail and kind of see stuff where, or even have different levels of zoom depending on where the combat was. Like sometimes you, if it was kind of close quarters, only a couple of enemies, like zoom in, show me the detail on the enemies, my character, what's going on. And then as stuff happens, kind of zoom out more. Still keep it isometric, but you know, you can zoom in and out a little bit. And you don't need a full 360 camera for that kind of stuff. You don't need a behind the shoulders Gears of War style camera or anything like that. I think there are ways to do it with a bit more dynamic action on the camera that would show off again just how darn pretty this game can be, but we're missing that just because of the stylistic choice of where the camera is set.
Yeah, I think almost like having almost like a dynamic director. When you do something cool, it zooms in. It's like kind of like, I think God of War, when he does something cool, it's like, oh, wow, we're doing something one. I don't want to see it every time, but I want to see when it's something cool and neat, and it adds to that connection to your characters and where you're at. Because your point, if it's so big, you need that view to see where everybody's coming from, but it's cool to see it once in a while. So I think there could be that type of just pinch that you could add as maybe an option. It's like a, if you're not hardcore and you just want something cool to see. But yeah, cool. My take is a game that was kind of doing things when Diablo was on hibernation, which was Torchlight. Torchlight
Yes.
added a pack animal or like a companion who could attack, but would also then take all your crap up to the surface, sell it. Because you know what I do? I've got 85 pieces of gear. I'm like, crap, I need money. What am I going to do? Shit, it's time to like drop it all out. And then it looks like I'm running like a thrift store or something where it's all out there. And I'm like, crap, I just covered up the one item I wanted that I couldn't hold. Now it's covered up. So I'm screwed. That's the thing. It just drives me nuts. I mark all my garbage and it's like, oh, I wanted this. So I'm like, it just, that's the only thing I'm like, or I want like a merchant maybe to follow you, or like I'll buy your crap. What else am I gonna do? I'm gonna set up shop here.
Diablo 3 had something where it's like you had a little goblin guy running around and you can like, and they get all your gold. Here it's that's the only thing I don't like as well. It's like, come on, like there's stuff that I'm missing here. I know it, but I'm too lazy to go. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
because you can
too lazy
hire
to
like
go to
mercenaries, right? Eventually, I haven't gotten to that part. Can you? So just have a guy who's just like your, I don't know, concierge.
Gopher.
You know, Goofer, whatever. Call him that, whatever. Yeah, he's the guy that like runs the, what's that show where the Storage Wars? I want that guy. I want that guy who has a storage. He just takes it up with his Ford F-150, takes it up upstairs every once in a while, brings it back down, ready for your crap again. Because you might have sold him something very valuable. You don't know. He makes money off you. Oh well, that's what I want. Storage Wars. Oh well. Moving on. So, anything else, Joe?
No, that's it. That's literally all I've been playing is Diablo.
Got it.
That's it.
Mark,
I'm addicted.
just an update though for you. I still cannot find my Embernick. I don't know where it is.
Oh my god, somewhere in Germany or somewhere. Yeah, that's
Probably.
crazy. That's amazing. Like I said, I have been picking around at Super Mario Brothers and a couple of other games there. But the other thing that I wanted to mention is Pokemon Home. I got back into kind of moving some Pokemon around, and because Pokemon Home just added support for Scarlet and Violet, so you can now take Pokemon and move them from that game to your Pokemon Home or from other games and put them in Scarlet and Violet. So I was playing around with some legendaries from like Brilliant Diamond, Sword and Shield. I was moving some stuff over that I just either haven't caught or weren't in this game before. And I was and then I went back into to Pokemon Scarlet and was just like throwing out like legendary Pokemon, just being like, hey, what's Moltres look like in this game? What's, Dialga look like in this game? And just like floating them around and getting them to like randomly go through the world and beat low level Pokemon. It's very satisfying. So that's it. I was excited that that game finally got compatible with Pokemon Home. And if you've put that game down and haven't really thought about it, you can actually get the 3 starters with special abilities or special moves. I can't remember which one now, but basically, yeah, you can get all 3 starters. If you don't have all 3 of them already, this is an easy way to get them. Move something from, I think it's just move something from Pokemon Scarlet to Pokemon Home, or maybe Pokemon Home. Either way, the details are in there if you use the app, and you can basically get all 3 starters and then move them back into your game and be good to go. So if that's something that interests you, log into Pokemon Home, log into Scarlet or Violet, figure it out, and get 3 free starter Pokemon that you can add to your collection because they're great.
Mark, follow-up question to that.
Yep.
Okay, this is just Todd's like stories he's created in his brain about Pokemon, because I'm Poketodd. Is Pokemon Home kind of like one of those wild exotic animal parks that Joe Exotic from Tiger King ran? Like, it's not the animals like the Pokemon are like not being fed. You got it's not okay.
Yeah,
okay.
No, they're definitely well taken care of. They're not just sitting in an app on my phone, for sure. No, they're super well taken care of. Yeah. I've got Pokemon sitting in there from a ton of different games, though. It's kind of neat. It is a neat place, but yeah, it's not like a Tamagotchi thing.
So Joe Exotic is not running your Pokemon Home. Okay, good to know. I want to make sure they're okay. Okay, cool. Kind of like the animal. It's like Animal Crossing when you haven't gone back to your place, and it's like you're the HOA wants to like essentially crack down on your home, and yeah.
No, mine are all well loved. They're
okay.
They're loved. Yeah,
that's good. Good. Well, very good. So very quickly, Street Fighter 6, I played the beta, and fun story. Never had that happen this to me before. Maybe Joe can comment on this. I got a brand new Street Fighter 6 disc from Gamefly, put it on my console. The disc would not work. I'm like, shit, is my PlayStation 5 disc dying? I put in the Atari, 40-year collection or whatever, worked. Everything else worked. I've never had a bum disc before, and it was brand new. So I returned it. Gamefly sent me a new one. This one worked. It was kind of weird. So I was delayed because I was going to play that before Diablo came out, before everything else. So I got a little delayed. So I am just at the cusp of really getting into Street Fighter 6. So I am really excited to play like their mode where it's like build a character, like the Madden mode where you like have your own journey. You can make your weird creation of whatever he looks like. I've seen people that are making like Geralt of Rivia. They're making anime characters. So the build quality is great. Watched a Donkey video though on Street Fighter 6. The characters he makes are horrific and hilarious at the same time. Yeah, it's great. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to be like make a Todd character, which would be like 5'4", kind of bald, maybe not aggressive or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe I'll make something different. I don't know. I'll be inspired. But I just mainly played the arcade mode, and I played just a very quick mode of it. And I played a new character. Her name is Lily. She is from Mexico, I believe, like wind inspired with like 2 clubs. And she was great. I loved it. And they've added an extra control where it's called Modern, which means it takes out a lot of that like quarters turn, do this stuff, like, and just makes it fun because there's multiple like power-ups you can have. There's reversals, things like that, but it's so much fun. The game is beautiful. Holy cow. Being on next gen only, I believe. I was playing Delsum, if you remember what he looks like now, he looks so weird and he contorts his body, and it's just like, I can't believe how real and good this looks. I'm not great at the game, but I beat the arcade level at their like intro level, and I felt good. The only nitpick is it doesn't have like a story mode like Mortal Kombat or Tekken or something like that. The cutscenes are all like hand drawn, so it's a little bit subpar. But where you really want, if you really want that mode, I believe is in like kind of like the I can't remember what they call it, but basically it's your journey where you meet all the classic Street Fighter characters, you build up your character, you beat up people on the street, like you can uppercut, you can give shurikens to old ladies on the street for some reason. They think that's okay.
That would be me.
It's what we all been wanting to do, you know. When you want me to fix your Netflix, Grandma? Boom. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it, and I don't know how much I'll play because I don't know how long it'll take to do these things, but it seems like it's a top tier. This is going to be a top tier year for fighting games. Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, I believe Tekken. I don't know if it has a release date, but if Tekken launches this year, holy crap.
Yeah.
This year's crazy. It's a great year for gaming, but that's fun. It looks great too. And thankfully, my fight stick from PS4 works on PlayStation 5. So very, very cool there. And just a note, my son is my Sherpa in Tears of the Kingdom. He has been telling me what to do. He's got so many hours in this damn game. He's amazing at it. I'm bad. Every time I want to step away from the game, he brings me back. So he's my voice of reason. He's like the internet commentary that I just have that lives in my house. But I did beat the first tower, the wind temple.
Love
and
that
I got
boss.
It's very cool because what I like about it, that temple, if you haven't played it, it's great. It's not hard, but it is, you have to understand what they're doing, and it puts you in a new mode of fighting and enjoying the game, which is cool. What I don't like in the game, though, above everything else, is being cold. Once you're cold, you're screwed. You're like, I have to eat all this food and not gonna die. So but I'm enjoying the game quite a bit. I do need a steering wheel because a steering wheel, with all your creations, is pointless. You're making a raft, you're making a vehicle that essentially just goes nowhere and not where you want to be, and you just waste your time.
You'll find one soon. You'll find it very soon.
I found one. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what do I do with this thing? I can't take it with me. I don't have a need for it right now. So, but yeah, it's a wacky game. It truly is. I still complain that I think the sounds the characters make are X-rated, and it shouldn't be allowed. It's horrible. It's horrible, really. I'm like, you think voice acting is bad? Here you go. Your wife's gonna think that you're doing something else when you're playing this game, by the way, folks, or your spouse or whoever. Your mom.
And I think the sound effect of bum was a little bit too much by Nintendo.
It was a little bit too much, yeah. Oh well. It's a great game. I don't know how much more I'll be playing with everything else playing, but it's a game where I definitely see the value there. So there you go, folks. That's what we've been playing. Now it's the main act of the show.
Attraction.
And that is bonus round. Yes. We are going to be talking about all of the summer game showcases in a this is the way we're going to go across this. We're going to go in very quick, tell you all the games, not going to discuss anything about them. And then we're going to talk about the games we loved. And we're saying it's basically what we loved and not so much, and give it a score for each showcase. Mark, we do have some comments for folks from our Discord group who gave us what they were excited for. So what would you like to do with those? Would you like to go do those up front or wait until after we're done?
Let's save them.
Okay, we're going to save them. Awesome. So going there, once again, the PlayStation Showcase already occurred a couple weeks ago. We already talked about that. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about basically everything that happened essentially in the last 4 to 6 days. And the first conference we got was the Summer Games Fest on June 8th. This was Jeff Keighley's big event. It was about an hour and a half and was covering essentially everything. If you look behind me, you'll see, if you're watching on YouTube, everyone who is participating. Everybody was involved, excluding Nintendo. So there you go. And with that, really quick, overall impressions of the show.
This was really good. Like, I really loved the showcase. I think they had a great variety of AAA and AA games. And even when I'm thinking about like the games I didn't like, or what I didn't like was showed, it's so few and far between that like the ones that do stick out to me and are shown later, still my first impression of them were were strong. So overall, I thought this was a great showcase. Like I'm thinking B plus level, because like it was a 2-hour showcase. I didn't look at my watch once, and I think there's something to say to that. You know.
Yeah.
Yep. Mark, any thoughts? I know you didn't get to watch it live, but and I thought it was
didn't
longer
watch
than it
any
was.
of these live. Same. Like just mirror what Joe just said. Like it was solid. There was something there for a lot of different types of gamers. It didn't really go on too long, even though it was a long showcase. Like I didn't find that it hung up in any particular spot. It was a really strong showing.
I would agree, and I didn't think there was a lot of fluff filler, like Chic Man, whatever. Back in the days where you had advertisers, I thought the advertising and those things which are necessary were limited, and I think really we got to focus on just the games, and it was limited to where it was at. And we got a good showing from the big and the small, some big announcements, some small announcements, and I think they handled it very well. And I think Jeff is getting better and better every year as he gets more funding to do what he wants and take away some of that things that he has to do. So with that, I will go through all of the games, and we will not comment any of them, and we'll go to what you loved and what was not so much for you. So go there. We'll start with Mortal Kombat 1. Big entry there with gameplay. Very cool. Path of Exile 2. Sonic Superstars. We also got Baldur's Gate 3 that was a little bit fluffy, with basically a voice acting session. Spider-Man 2 gets a release date and also reveal of their cool collector's edition. Witcher Season 3 got a trailer. Lies of P got a demo announced and a release date. Sandland got announced. That is by the creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama. Alan Wake 2 got extensive gameplay. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando got a trailer. That was weird. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0. Don't know what that was. It was just stuff, but not the new Call of Duty we're expecting. Twisted Metal TV trailer with Will Arnett speaking with Samoa Joe's body, with Annie Mackie. Fortnite Chapter 4, Season 3 Wilds. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There you go. Did I miss anything?
Missing a couple of things though.
Okay.
You didn't mention Prince of Persia.
Oh, that's right. I blame Polygon. It's their link.
Yep. Did you mention Like a Dragon as well?
I did not. Okay. That was a great point.
Star Trek Infinite.
Oh, that's right. Which is actually like more of a strategy turn-based game. Yeah.
Pal World.
Mark.
Pokemon with guns.
I can't wait for
Lord
you.
Of the Rings Return to Moria. If I'm missing something else, I apologize, but that's it's a couple of things that I don't think I heard you say. So there we go. All right.
Yeah.
No, I blame Polygon for their bad link and not listening. Oh, that's right. The Space Marine 2. Co-op 3 players, and then Nicolas Cage coming on screen for Dead by Daylight.
Yep. I'm sure there's some other stuff. There was a few indies that were what was the weird looking
there was the Final Fantasy mobile game?
Yeah.
Which was weird too.
We forgot that, baby.
No, there's Yes, Your Grace.
Oh, that looks very cool. It's a sequel, I believe.
Interesting art style. Yep.
Yeah.
So there are a few others. I'm sure that someone is going to be like, "You're missing my favorite game." But Fae Farm. That one looked cute as hell. Party Animals. There's a ton of stuff that was announced here. Holy crap!
Yeah, a lot of it also a montage. But like for me, the highlights. Right. I mean, that Spider-Man pop, and I saw someone post the reaction to the release date. That crowd went just crazy for it.
How good was it to hear a live crowd crazy reaction after all these years?
Yeah.
And they were selling tickets. So it wasn't just like game critics. It was the public was there to watch a show that was run live. And there was zero, I don't know of any like glitches or anything weird that really made it seem weird or awkward.
Yeah. And like, first off, I think it's time to start bringing these events back. As much as the directs are nice and everything like that, it's convenient, all that. I think we're yearning to go out there and just cheer for video games. I think it's time. I just think that the one problem is all these companies have grandiose visions and they're not, they're just like, keep it simple, stupid. Just, don't have these wild expectations, and I think you're going to be fine. But at the end of the day, I loved Spider-Man. I loved what I saw from Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Prince of Persia instantly was in. This was a showcase. I was like, I love this direction. And Mortal Kombat. Man, that game how does it look so beautiful? And yeah, so viscerally, just disgusting. I don't know. But like, those were the
seamless
4 games that just spoke to me. But there was a lot here, man. There was a lot of good stuff shown.
Okay, I did discover a couple that we missed. Banishers, which is really cool, from Don't Nod, which is really cool. It's kind of like an action adventure with your undead companion.
Yeah, you're following your undead wife, and you're trying to bring her back. It's a really good premise. Yeah.
Witchfire, which looks kind of a game that looks like by the people who did Painkiller, kind of like a action adventure game, and Mark just dropped his mic. That was a mic drop moment. Remnant 2 got a release date that's kind of like a Soulsborne with guns, and then Immortals of Evium from EA, which is kind of like your Hexen type game, got a really good showing there. Under the Waves, which is like kind of like you're a guy in the ocean, got announced. Honkai Star Rail gets a PS5 release. That name speaks to me as a honky. Black Desert Online got an expansion. Lisfanga, the Time Shift Warrior, where basically it's almost like a Hades, but you are sending like time-based versions of yourself to take out enemies, which is so crazy. And then Throne of Liberty, don't know what that is. And I'm just... and we also got an Xbox custom Porsche console.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I mean, that's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff, man.
Yeah. For me, it was Banishers. That was pretty awesome. I like what they're doing. I like the games are kind of like those underdogs that are doing something cool. So that was definitely the game that I just was really spoke to me. And I don't know if it'll be a winner or a loser, but I really enjoyed that quite a bit. Any other things we loved in this showcase?
Joe?
No, I mean, that's all I got. Like, let's go Spider-Man. Can't wait to pre-order that, or attempt to pre-order that on Friday. That's going to be a whole lot of stress that I don't need, and I'll be very upset when PlayStation Direct breaks on me again. So.
Oh yeah, Joe, let me know. I am like console clause. I got PS5s for so many people through PlayStation Direct. Let me know. I'm also going to get one as well. Let me know, because I also want to get one. I'm not big into statues, but when I saw that one, I need a Spider-Man statue. Statue looks awesome. It's 19 inches tall. Venom and Miles and everything. Can't wait for that game. And Mark, quick question. What's your tipping point for getting a PlayStation 5, by the way?
It's going to happen eventually.
Okay.
Exactly what it is.
Okay.
See, my problem is I don't have the time to play the Xbox games I want to play. Throw a PlayStation in there, and I'm just going to feel bad that something's collecting dust.
Don't worry. Eventually, eventually your child will take over a system, and then you have to play the other system. That's work with me and Logan. It was the way it is. So really quickly, my things that I loved: Prince of Persia, love that game. We'll talk more about that game later. Sonic Superstars. I think that's so cool. I'm not a big Sonic guy, but that looked really fun. Reminds me of like Sonic, like Super Mario 3D World. Love that. Space Marine 2. I love Space Marine 1. And the fact that I can play co-op is awesome.
Yes. Oh, we'll be playing it together, Todd.
Oh my God. I cannot wait, Joe. We haven't played together before. I really want to play with you because I'm bad. I need someone to carry me, and you're stronger than I am. So your back will be a nice place for me to rest as you're carrying me through. Pal World, Mark, how excited are you for Pokemon with guns?
Why? That's the category of the not so much for me. I'm backing you up on the Prince of Persia, the Sonic, Spider-Man, Mortal Kombat. Like, everything looks so good. There's a few like indie and smaller games, but like Pokemon. Why do Pokemon need guns? I don't know. It just
Why
there's
not?
something about, like, I get the concept is funny for a second, but like it's one of those things that it's like, that's a funny concept, and then you just see it and it's like, why does Pikachu have a gun? It's just, I don't want that.
Because Pikachu's practicing his Second Amendment right.
Right. Yeah.
That's all he's
But
doing.
Mark's from Canada. I don't know, Joe. I don't know how that works.
Well, see, here you got vans blocking some bridges. We got pure freedom over here, Mark. Okay, and yeah, Charizard was at January 6th, but he was just sightseeing. And everybody just, oh, why was he there? Why did he? Because he liked Nancy Pelosi's office. He just wanted to see, what the desk like. Was that real oak? That's why he put his feet on there. Like everybody just freaks out over nothing, Yeah. Alakazam said lock them up. Like, who cares what Alakazam says? He says a lot of things. He bends spoons with his mind. Like, just give him a break and give him a Glock.
Mark, like you never wanted to shoot Mr. Mime with an AK-47.
Exactly. We gotta find Mr. Mime and bring him to an end.
Exactly.
And Mr. Mime knows that he's dead now because
because you've used your mimicry to make your speaking his language. Bullets. Exactly. Oh, thank you, Tenacious D. Joe, you and Kyle.
Yeah,
I keep bringing this up. Oh well. So not so much. So Mark, Power will be on it. Not so, any other not so muches from SGF.
Joe, anything for you?
Oh no, nothing. Someone's knocking on my door. One sec.
Okay. For me, the only other one was what was the John Carpenter one called?
Toxic Commando, which it's by the team that did World War Z, which they know how to do this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That did so little for me. I'm just so over zombies and like big hordes of zombies that you just like shoot endless bullets into for no reason. Like, I get it as a concept and it's neat once in a while, but like nothing about that game appealed to me at all. And it might be a genre thing. I'm sure it'll be fine for anyone that likes that zombie, horde kind of thing. But like, it did absolutely nothing for me.
Joe, any not so muches?
Yeah, I think that's probably the only one. But honestly, if I can't remember it, it is what it is at this point. Nothing offended me. Like, I even like the Twisted Metal like clip. I didn't hate it. That was fine.
Yeah. The odd one for me was like the Marvel Snap. I mean, I like the game, but the guy coming out, it just seemed clunky, and it didn't need a guy doing that. It was just like, you could have put a trailer there. Other than that, I didn't have many.
Yeah. He's we have a Greg Miller at home guy. Yeah.
Very, very good take. So, Mark, would you like to walk us through the next showcase, which would be Xbox? Or do you want me to do Digital Devolver really quick?
If you want to do, I didn't even watch that one, so you guys can cover it. I'm going blind.
I'm over it. None of it appealed to me. Let's stop. Like Devolver, oh my god, we're so funny. We're so anti the culture. I'm getting tired of it. Right. I'm getting tired of the punk rock nonsense out of them. That's what I got.
Normally, you get the games that back up their behavior, right? You get that. You get the weird, like, interactive showcase because they can have it and you do some fun things, but there's also awesome games. This year, the only game I could say that stood out to me, which was and it really was, Devolver, for anybody who doesn't know it, they do a narrative for their showcases. It's typically a little adult, gross, and weird. This year, they're focusing on their mascot named Volvi, which was this like weird character, which they gave a narrative, like a fake narrative, like he was a 8-bit character and his creator was there and he's got a big hand, and they tried to make it didn't, after time he fell off and then he became, tried to make him cool and hip. He was forgotten, and they tried to bring him back again and make him really overly hip and things like that. Didn't work, and his developer walked away. Tried to bring him back again, and essentially created this like weird robot, created a weird Black Mirror type mascot event that got really, really weird and gross. And that was the summary of it. And the only thing I could give a positive, and I think it's a game my son would like. It's called Wizard with a Gun. It feels like Don't Starve plus different elements. I kind of liked it, and I could see where my son would like it, but it's not a game for me. But that was the only game that stood out. So it's like, if Devolver doesn't deliver on the games, then what they're doing is just being very meme-like, which it gets old. It's very hard to be edgy and cool And then when you don't deliver that, I mean, I don't know. So yeah, that was the only time I've seen Devolver really not deliver on the game. So so not so much. So anything else? I mean, it was very short. I think there was 4 games. That was the only game. So not so much would be Devolver needs to really either move on and do something new, or
where was Plucky Squire? Like, there's just a lot of games missing.
Oh my God, that's right. The last time we saw it was we saw it a couple years ago. We saw it at PlayStation again. No release date, nothing else there. Yeah, no demos or anything for that game. That's really one of my most anticipated games.
Yeah. I think if you don't have enough, like, it's okay to sit one out. You know what I mean? Like, jump on with someone else. You don't have to always just like for 4 games that. Like,
the thing that I didn't like about that showcase was like they're making fun of AI, right? And like, oh, robot, like crap us out a game that's like you're lazy, but you got 2 legs and you're walking, and then they show this developer game, like a game people actually made. It felt like they're kind of making fun of the developers that are making the games, and by just saying, look at that, like it seemed like they were just like underselling themselves in a way with this showcase. I don't think that wasn't the right move. I don't think. Like, it would have been better if like the game didn't work and go, well, okay, here's this game that made by a human, you know? I don't know. The whole thing fell off.
Very weird.
If the joke doesn't land and it's already a shit presentation, like it kind of just double poopies.
Yeah, it becomes a lower. It basically, you just don't deliver at that same level. It's not shocking anymore because you're expecting the worst. And it just becomes like, okay, where are you at? So with that, now we're getting to Xbox. There was essentially an Xbox showcase June 11th, and then they had an expanded showcase after on June 13th, which just happened, which we expected to just be more of what was going on with the developers and things like that, but they actually surprised us. Just a note on this showcase, I actually went to a movie theater to see the Xbox showcase. An AMC with a friend of mine, Sean Nias. We went and we watched it with other gaming friends. So it was a really cool experience. They gave us $10. So thank you, Xbox. I'm not bought and paid for you with your snacks. I didn't buy the Optimus Prime trailer popcorn holder or the Miles Morales or the Gwen Venomverse or the Fast Furious Dom's vehicle popcorn holder either. I know. I resisted temptation.
Opportunities.
I know. I don't know how much popcorn actually be held in the trunk of a Dodge Charger. It's not much. Oh well. Donnie Reese could tell me. Yeah, not so much. So Mark, tell us what happened on the Xbox showcase on June 11th.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I did not see the extended showcase. So this is going to be all about the first one for a second. So we saw Fable, a great trailer with Richard Ayoade.
IT Crowd.
What was that?
IT Crowd.
From the IT Crowd, yeah, playing a giant and giving a great narration over the trailer. New game South of Midnight, stop motion, kind of really, really, really cool kind of look to it. Awesome. We saw footage that's going to pop up again later, but from Ubisoft's Star Wars Outlaws. We saw 33 Immortals, which is a new co-op roguelike from Thunder Lotus. We saw Payday 3. We saw a few Atlas games. The first one was Persona 3 Reload Remake. We got Avowed, finally coming out 2024. Great. Sea of Thieves got a new expansion or a new more content, basically, that's dropping very, very soon, July 20th.
That Lucasfilm logo, when it showed up, people were...
Oh, yeah.
Pooping their drawers.
Fantastic. Flight Simulator 2024. There's like jobs and stuff like that now, which I think could be a little bit more direction to that game. I think that's a good call. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, got another very, very trippy trailer for that one. And then some more, a little bit more look into that. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. So very
Austin Powers. They're using the Austin Powers trailer or game to hide a guy's schlong.
An unrevealing trailer, I'll say. Fallout 76 Game Pass. That game's still a thing apparently, and it's
Song was great. Yeah.
Y'all keep on doing the rundown. I just gotta let my dog inside. So, but trust me, I got this.
You go, Joe.
Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. Gorgeous, but also grotesque hack and slash from Capcom, which we saw again at the Capcom event.
I thought it was
Forza,
Onimusha, Mark. It made me very sad.
Forza Motorsport is Forza Motorsport. What are you going to say?
With Corvettes and Corvettes.
Yep. Elder Scrolls Online, still going. Necrom expansion, another trailer kind of thing that's going to come out eventually. Overwatch 2 got a new trailer, some story stuff, some hero stuff, and some, again, Game Pass Ultimate perks, which is good if you're a fan of that game. Persona 5 Tactica, new Persona strategy game. Don't Nod is making a climbing game that's like, climbing mountains or whatever, called Jasant, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but
sure.
Anyway, that's looks neat. Looks very zen, very kind of calm for the most part, but still kind of exciting. Still Wakes the Deep, another new one, announcement trailer that's from the Chinese Room. Horror on an oil rig. Sounds a little close quarters. Cell shaded adventure Dungeons of Hinterberg was revealed. Looks very pretty.
Yes.
Then Keanu talked up Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, the DLC coming up on September 26th. We got to look at City Skylines, aka SimCity, the next generation. I don't know, that's launching in October. New RPG from the makers of Persona called Metaphor.
That Fantasio. It's very French, or no, Italian.
Yes. Fantasio, yes. Right, I forgot there's an extra bit on there. And then Towerborn, we saw, by the guys that made Banner Saga, which looks very, very interesting. And then a game that looked like get big BioShock vibes from this one. Clockwork Revolution, new first-person shooter from In Exile.
Which they made the Wasteland games, which are typically more isometric, like Fallout, those type of games. So yeah, it was a new spiel for them. And then that was the first half of a 2-hour presentation. There was a Starfield short trailer, which I thought was odd. But they gave us a little bit of a Starfield there, and they said, "Oh, by the way, here's another hour of Starfield."
Yeah, it was strange, but I think I get why they did that, because for someone like me, who is pretty much just sold on Starfield already, it was nice to get a little trailer thrown in there for that, and not feel like I had to watch the extra hour.
Yeah.
I did. I left it on, but I paid attention to the first hour, and I passively watched the Starfield thing. If there was something that I heard, because they were describing a lot of it and walking through gameplay and all that kind of stuff, if there was something I heard that perked my interest, I think I was moving Pokemon around at that time, actually. So I'd put my Switch down and I'd rewind it for a couple of seconds and kind of continue watching the interesting bit, or kind of like, oh, that looks pretty okay, cool, like, move this around or do that. So I get that. I get why they did that. I think that was a really good call, because Starfield showed really, really well, I think. But if you want to go in blind and skip that next hour, they let you do that, but still kind of remind it like, this is our big game. So I thought that was a good call.
Yeah, and we were in the theater, so we couldn't look at our phones. We had to watch the whole thing. I was actually surprised. For some reason, I thought it was going to be 90 minutes of everything else and only like 30 minutes of Starfield. We got essentially an hour of everything and then an hour of Starfield deep dive. So if you wanted to stick around and learn everything about Starfield, that was a perfect way to do it. So, and not reading a magazine article or do things like that. So, I thought they did a great job doing that, but I can see it's too much, or maybe you didn't want to stick around and see all of that. But if you wanted all your questions answered, definitely, except for the frame rate and resolution, because they didn't say it there. They said it after. But there you go. And by the way, Starfield is going to be at 4K 30 on Xbox Series S. That's where it's locked. You don't have any options to change anything. That's what it is. And they said it's from a creative decision, not from a technical. It's what they viewed their creative vision. It's going to be 1440 30 on Series S, and on PC, there is no creative vision. Do what you want because you can crank it up. So enjoy that.
People are up in arms about that. I would rather locked at 30
yes.
than aiming for 60 and dipping.
Yes.
If they can have a steady 30 frames a second, give me that all day long. Then when this part's 60, this part's 54, this part's 30, this part's 20, this part's 60 again. Like it's, if they can just solid deliver on 30, like, yeah, do it. Let's go.
Yeah. And I would say most people don't realize unless they have an alternative and they're looking side by side. It is what it is in this instance in this game.
Yeah, this is not as big of a deal as anyone's making out to be. You know, every person that is not putting their foot in their mouth saying, listen, the deeper we get into this generation, 30 is going to be the standard thing again. So like, you know, I think Jeff Grubb said it best. You got 60 on a lot of these games because you're playing PS4 and Xbox games. Series.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Enhanced at this point. And now we're starting to leave that this year. And that's why you're starting to see that come into fruition. That being said, though, with a PlayStation 5 Pro being rumored, I think PlayStation sees that there are people that want to play at the highest fidelity / frame rate possible, and that could be something for them. But listen, 30's fine. Everybody's freaking out over literally nothing. As long as it doesn't dip, you're going to be A-okay here, guys.
Yep.
That was the other thing. Like Xbox went in a very different direction with a new console announcement of a black Series S with more storage. So they were like, hey, we know people don't want, locked in at 30 frames a second, but deal with that for now. Here's more storage and a black console. So thumbs up.
Yeah, because you got to do it because quite honestly, these games are optimized for X and S. They can't go on external storage. So you got to give them more storage because you don't want Call of Duty, Gears, the collection, and then just one game. And it's like, I'm out. What am I going to do? Because it's a digital console. It's like, because you're supposed to download everything. So it becomes a scenario and it's there. Now, do we have any indication that we'll still get the baseline S2, or is that going away?
No, you're still getting the baseline.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a $50 difference. That's why I sold my S, because I'm like, you're going to have to get more storage. It's more expensive. That's why I got the X. Getting this for $50 more, it's a no-brainer, because even their storage they're bringing out now that's better is still really expensive. Until they get this stuff down to a limited price it's cheap, get as much storage you can natively and you'll be good to go. So I think it's cool. Neat to see they did that. And I always say this to people, PC games have a hard time getting to 4K 60 with anything less than like almost an $800 graphics card. And I'm going to be building a PC this year. So think about that. The fact that we've got 4K 60 on devices that cost only $500, you've been essentially gifted. And the more hardware we give these devs, you think they're not going to do more with it. So it just becomes it just becomes crazy. So enjoy it, because people can enjoy Zelda at 720-30. And I think no one complained about that. And that's where I think we live today. So at that point, so it's almost like two shows, but it's not really two shows. We also got the second show, which I'll go really quickly on that. Not much was announced with the extended showcase, but if you're a Game Pass owner, you're getting more. They essentially announced 12 games, like indie games, that are coming to Game Pass, which are great, especially acclaimed games. One of those is Neon White. Neon White has been getting all these acclaims. It's great on Switch and everything. You're getting it free on Game Pass. I'm going to check it out. That's really cool. Sea of Stars. That's a game that people are loving, as from a Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger style of game. That's coming out. That's also coming to that game. But what if they also announced was we got more information Avowed from the developer. And one of the cool things is we found out there's actually women making games. There was a woman lead developer who was interviewed along with Tina Amini from IGN, talking to these developers, and that's what we got to see. There was very few women and people of color shown on these stages, and the fact that we got this with Xbox, and I hope we get more, is awesome. So Avowed looks
That's
awesome.
Why I'm just so upset. Yeah. That's why I'm just so upset, you know?
Yeah.
Typical Joe. Hates diversity.
That's right, by God.
Yep. He wants to see more men like me. It's like, why isn't there more people that look like Todd?
I want bald white men here. Nothing else.
Space Marines taking the lead.
No one but Doug Bowser. I want him to read the back of every box on stage and walk off impressed with himself that he knew all the words.
Exactly. Get good. Out. Get good, people of color.
Right.
Is what they would say. Just kidding. Towerborn got a really good discussion with talking about the game, more about it. It looks really great. This is going to be, but this is crazy that we got the team that made what was that game where they go down to the depths, they go crazy. What is that game called? Where they go crazy, they go down. They hallucinate. You lose people in your party, but they're making new games that are fun. And this is a 4-person co-op game where you get your personality, you get to have fun. This looks like Castle Crashers in better graphics and more realistic, and a lot of fun. So that game's coming out. Phil Spencer played 33 Immortals with the developers. My only problem with this game is I don't know how you make 33 of those little guys fighting look different enough that I don't know who I am. I will lose track of who I am. I do in Diablo already. I don't know who I am. I'm killing something, maybe. Yeah. We also got a Cyberpunk 2077 interview with Keanu Reeves, which is really cool. High on Life got a DLC called High on Knife, which I think is the greatest pun I've ever heard. But that is not going to be part of Game Pass. You have to pay for that. So enjoy that. And then we are also getting a deeper dive with Lies of P, one of Joe's favorite games, even though it hasn't even come out yet. We got
I loved it.
Oh my goodness. Paris Lilly got to go to a foreign country to talk about the Dune expansion in Microsoft's Flight Simulator, which is just crazy. And I could just see them taking that concept of, what planet and what series of game, Avatar, you're going to fly one of those weird Navi things in across their weird world. So I could just see them taking that concept with Flight Simulator and just going to these weird worlds. Very cool. Senua Saga's Hellblade, they talked about that they're doing more behind the scenes of their filming of their cinematics, which they said they're done. And then other than that, a First Descendant gameplay that I don't know anything about, but they showed that, and it's coming to Xbox in August 28th. New game called Go Mecha Ball is announced. Lamplighters League, this is a new game by the creators of Shadowrun Trilogy and Battletech that is also coming out October 3rd of this year. And Lightyear Frontier shows off its mech-based multiplayer farming simulator that's coming out as well. And Phasmophobia, which is a spooky game, is coming out on Xbox Series S and X. And then you're getting 10 free games on Game Pass, including one game that made me laugh. It's a fighting game with drag queens, which I didn't get. Nice. But oh well, do you really want to fight it? You want to really beat up drag queens? I guess maybe you can. And
I know some people that are upset on Target would love that game.
Exactly. And then Hi-Fi Rush is
mad at me at this moment. Would love that game.
Exactly. So I guess there you go. And then Hi-Fi Rush is getting new arcade challenge modes, which makes the game even harder, which is not for me. But there you go. So that is their extra expanded edition. So very cool there. So with that, what did you guys love from the Xbox Showcase?
I'll go first because Todd, we have differing opinions on this one game. I can't wait to have your thoughts on this. Senua Saga Hellblade 2. That was one of the most impressive trailers that I have seen because that is in game. Though, listen, I'm always akin to thinking like, if you show me anything that says in game anything, I'm not gonna believe you until I get the controller in my hand and I'm playing it and there's a UI there. Because listen, like Fable looks great. It's like this is actual in game. It's running on a Series X. That's great. But Jedi Survivor looked better in those cinematics You know what I'm saying? Or those in-game moments when you weren't behind the sticks. So I'm still skeptical. And when those games come out and they prove me wrong, I think that just goes to show how impressive these devs are. So that said, Hellblade looked phenomenal, and watching it with my headsets on, hearing all the voices like in her head, and it was incredible. Like, it was just incredible. I loved that trailer so much, and it is, to me, I think Starfield being there is great and all. That was the game of show for me. Was just Senua, having played the first game, seeing the second one. It's like this is no longer a double A game. This is full blown triple A. They have the money to make this big, and they are. The one afterwards that I love is Cyberpunk. Ooh, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty looks so good. And guys and gals, I'm here to tell you that they have overhauled this entire game. So from top to bottom, stem to stern, perks, combat, just how the world interacts with you. This one DLC really, I think, takes everybody's critiques with the original and places it here and says, listen, we've heard you guys loud and clear. This is the definitive version to now play and experience. As someone who came into Cyberpunk back in October and fell in love with the PlayStation 5 version, I cannot wait to see what Phantom Liberty has to offer. So that's my second one. My third one shown here is also at Ubisoft. So I'll get into that one a little bit. But that was I was a little apprehensive because I don't usually trust Ubisoft that much in terms of showing me things, and the art style was a little worrisome, but that's Star Wars Outlaws, which again we'll get to later. And then I absolutely loved Starfield. I was surprised how I walked away from that presentation being so. So I've always looked at Starfield going, okay, this looks cool, this looks interesting, but what am I doing here, right? Like this, and knowing Bethesda Softworks, I'm like they usually bite off more than they can chew here, and I don't know, I'm skeptical. Seeing Starfield in that deep dive again, that hour-long presentation, sold me on the game. It's not my most anticipated game this year. It's still Spider-Man 2 by a country mile, but Starfield now had me, for someone who was just like, I don't think so, bud, to, okay, I'm excited, and I bought that controller, and I'm a big dumb idiot for doing so.
Joe, those triggers. I've never seen triggers as beautiful. Right? That's what's driving me. Those triggers that are clear, you can see inside them. I've never seen another controller do that. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, Xbox had the best showcase that they can possibly have. And as a PlayStation guy, and I'm watching this, and listen, again, I'm a PlayStation guy, so not everything is, I can sit back and go, oh, wow, that looks cool. But I'm not gonna, stop playing my PlayStation for it, right? Like I'm happy for you Xbox fans. Also, shout out to Fable. Fable's one of my favorite Xbox games. That would be my fourth one. But like Starfield's one of those games where I'll put down my PlayStation controller for sure. And seeing the Xbox community excited and ecstatic for what they showed off here, and they are now really boasting, hey, we're here to give you 4 great games every single year, exclusive to the Game Pass platform. That's and I think they hit it out right out of the park here, because though you had Forza, there was no mention of Gears. There's no mention of Halo at all here. This is just really a lot of fresh IP here. Even like Senua Saga, that wasn't played by millions of folks. So like Hellblade 2 is going to be the first in that series for a lot of people. My only nays is Avowed. I was very excited for Avowed. Seeing that shown off in the change of art style, though I understand why. They have now 3 fantasy RPGs, Fable, Avowed, and Elder Scrolls. They gotta be different from each other. So that's probably why Avowed's art got changed probably midway through. But I just don't like the direction they took with it. That being said, though, this is Obsidian and they're really talented. So I still have faith that that game's going to be really good. Also, Clockwork Revolution. This is not a con. I actually I dug what they're doing there. It looks different, though I'm not completely in love with like the artwork there. I get it, steampunk. It's cute. There's just something missing there. Like there's a missing little, I don't know, puzzle piece there that to get me fully on board. Still looks great, and again in Exile. One hell of a talented studio. So if you're an Xbox fan, I can see why you guys are cheering. And if you're a PlayStation fan, I get why you're jaded that you're not. Because that PlayStation showcase was not good.
So Joe, we got a little bit of your what you love and not so much, right? So is yep. You're good? Okay, cool. Cool. So Mark,
that's my rant.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Mark, what was your what did you love?
Yeah, Starfield. I mean, super excited, like we were saying before. I was sold on that. I didn't need the deep dive, but I'm glad we kind of like I could passively kind of watch it just to get a little bit more. One surprise for me was South of Midnight. I love the art style, that stop motion kind of look. The soundtrack I think is going to be very like some good kind of like southern kind of just I just love that whole
southern
presentation. Draw. It's going to be cool. I even liked Avowed, but I do get what you're saying of like, there's a lot of like fantasy RPG, like same kind of looking. Like if you show me 3 screenshots, I'm going to be like, I don't know, Elder Scrolls maybe. And it's 3 different games, right? Like it's, what are they going to do to really make it stand out? So I'm curious about that one, but it does, again, I trust the devs and stuff. I'm trying to think of something that Joe didn't mention. I don't know. For me, the not like stuff, I thought this was an amazing showcase. And as an Xbox guy, I'm like so happy with this whole thing. So the only bad things I can really say are like, I don't know, I guess there was some stuff that's not really for me. Like I'm super happy that Xbox got some Persona and stuff and like some really Japanese looking games because they traditionally missed that
Persona
stuff.
They got so much Persona.
so happy for the people like that.
Yeah.
They just like they don't really do anything to sell.
Capcom new IP? Come on. How often does Capcom show up with the new IP?
Same thing with City Skylines. Like if you're that kind of city building, meticulous kind of like planning kind of person, like that's awesome for you. Did absolutely nothing for me. I was just like, okay, let's move on. So that there were some hits and misses for me personally, but overall, I thought this was such a really great showing. That's the first time we saw, what was it, one Path of the Goddess that kind of was a trick out for you, Todd. Again, but
yeah, I thought it was going to be Onimusha. Nope.
Adding
away from
Monkey Island to see
that was a great ad. Yeah.
So good. So I was just kind of happy overall. And again, like the only bad things I can say were like, I don't know, some games aren't like for like Payday 3. I'm like, I don't know, it looks like more Payday. I'm not going to play it. But yeah, I mean, like if you're a Payday fan, cool. That's great. Like it wasn't a bad showing of any particular game. Like some were for me, some were for not. Like everything has its audience. So I didn't really think there was a dud in this whole presentation.
Well, gentlemen, I am a PlayStation fan, so just like Joe. But I felt this was a much better showcase than what we got from PlayStation because Xbox is saying what's coming, and for PlayStation, they left me feel like I don't know what first person like solo games I'm going to play in PlayStation from that from first party in 2025, or 2024, which is frustrating for me because I love PlayStation's those solo experiences. So, but with this, we're getting a lot, and we are getting 4 games from Xbox first party in 2024. We're getting kind of like their wrap up with Forza, which is not for me. And we're also getting Starfield. So they kind of made their promise to get what we got from first party and also from third party, which is great. They didn't deliver on everything in the showcase is going to be on Game Pass. So some games you're going to pay for, but still like 20 of the 29 games are on Game Pass. That's a big win. PlayStation PS Plus, we're not getting any of those games for free. Sorry, folks,
Yeah.
for day and date. So that's just like where their differences, where they're at with PlayStation. They want you to pay full board because their experiences are great, and Xbox still needs to get their fan base and base. What I loved is Starfield made me want this game after forgetting that we almost forgot that Bethesda makes great games. We're like, oh, Bethesda's not going to deliver. I'm like, no, they made Skyrim. They made all these great games that people love. Thank you for making us believe that. And I'm hearing that this game has the least amount of bugs from Bethesda game than any other game they've ever made. Great.
Man, I wouldn't have said that out loud.
I know. You had to address the room, Joe. It's like, yeah.
You're going to jinx it.
Yeah, exactly. I finally didn't get audited by the IRS, said Trump. No, just kidding. Yeah, it's one of those statements. Oh. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think they delivered on showing us some games that we wanted to know about, even though we don't know if they're actually really going to come out. One of the things I think that they kind of lied about was, we're not going to show any CGI trailers. But sure enough, they showed a lot of cutscenes, which is not gameplay. And that's where I feel like a lot of this, I love where Feelable's going. I don't think there was any of me actually doing anything in the game. That was all a cutscene. So I don't feel that's real representative of the game.
Ends up being the real deal. Okay, fine.
I don't know, Joe. I think that looks too good to be realistic on these consoles because I love the Fable series. But that's what I feel like. A lot of this felt like it's not going to be actually like, it's going to be a cutscene rather than as you play it. Because it's an engine, but it's a cutscene, but it's not actually you doing the actual playing of the game, which was disappointing. I want more of me playing the game and showing me what I'm doing versus seeing, and I feel like we got a lot more of that in Xbox than we did. I want to
see that Fable.
Exactly. What am I doing? I'm kicking chickens myself, not in a cutscene. So with that, but Fable looked great. I love that. I love the theme. Avowed looks awesome. We are not going to get a Skyrim until like 2029, which would make me really ancient. So I'm glad we're getting that. I like where we're going. Towerborn looks awesome. It's a game I can play with friends. I like that. Clockwork Revolution makes me feel like BioShock Infinite since we haven't gotten a new BioShock in forever. I love that gameplay. I think we got a little bit of gameplay, maybe. I don't know. But there's time mechanics too, which is pretty cool. Like that. Gave me Dishonored vibes too, which I like. South of Midnight looks like a Leica movie come to life, which is pretty cool. If you like Kubo, the Two Strings, those type of movies, I like that. But once again, I don't know what the hell I'm doing this game. I just know it looks cool. So I want more understanding of what I'm going to do in this game versus just showing me a cool cutscene. Cyberpunk DLC, I need a PC to play that game. I cannot play it on console. My son's already beat it on console and he loves it and he's so excited. I want to play more of that. Dungeons of Hinterberg, this looks so cool. I've just been to Europe. This looks like a European girl going on these adventures in a real world and having cool powers. So very, very cool. That's where I stand. Very impressed because so much is coming that I'm not going to have to pay for. Really, really awesome. To the not so much, I kind of already addressed a lot of that, but this is going to break Joe's heart. Senua's Saga. I was sitting next to my friend, saw that, and he says, I have no clue what the hell's going on. And that's a failure for anybody who didn't play the game. It didn't tell me what is the journey. If you played it already, you get it. If you didn't, it was a horrible showing because it didn't tell me anything about it. I thought the first showing was great because we're doing some things, but it's immersive, but that looked like a cutscene again. It didn't look like when I'm doing something in a game. I totally get it, the immersive, the voices and what she's dealing with her struggle. I just think it failed on a level of bringing people in to say, why do I care about this character versus muddling voices, things going on, and no version of like what the overall story was. So to me, that was a big loss. And I felt like bored because I'm like, I get it, but show me something new. And I got what I got before was so more exciting and invigorating. So that to me was a not so much where I think they lost it because what I didn't like about Hellblade, the first game, the gameplay and the mechanics and those things are not great. So except for like kind of reminds me of like those games. What is the series called? Where it's like almost like a Telltale game. Is it True Colors? What is it called?
Life is Strange.
Yeah. Exactly. It feels like that with a little bit more creative, which is never going to be the biggest game in the world. It's never going to bring in a bunch of people. It feels like that with a little bit of combat. So I worry that this is not going to be the game that Xbox wants it to be because it's not going to have God of War elements where it has that great story plus fantastic combo. You feel it. So I feel like they didn't show me why this game is going to feel better than the last one. It's going to have that great gameplay, and also fantastic storytelling and making me love this world. Because I dropped off the first game because I felt like the mechanics and play, like, it's not grabbing me. It's like, I just don't feel the world. I like the story where it's going, but the actual mechanics and why I play a game just were lacking. And I don't feel like more budget is going to give them that, because I think Ninja Theory is a great studio. I've loved everything they've done because they've had great mechanics. And I felt like Hellblade was something where the mechanics felt subpar. So I'm hoping they do something else to say, we do all of this, and our mechanics and our gameplay and maybe our combat will be excellent as well. So we can bring the two together.
That's
if it's
where
just
Microsoft's budget's going to come in.
I hope so.
Hellblade 2, remember, it was a AA game, and PlayStation had the chance of making that an exclusive, and they
absolutely
didn't. It was timed, I think. But like, to me, seeing what Ninja Theory has done in the past, playing the first game, loving the first game, to me, there's always this air of mystery. Like, Fable didn't tell me really what much that game's about. Like, it just has to capture me in a sense of mystery and what's going on, and wanting to find out what's happening here. And I think that's what Hellblade did for me. And again, this comes from me playing the first game and enjoying it. But yeah, I like, to me, it's like, I understand why you didn't like it in the theater, because you were wearing headphones. Like, when you're
and I felt bad for my friend who hadn't played the first game. He's like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like, because you said not many people played it, showing them that makes it feel even more like nebulous. It's like, oh my God, that's something I think you show later on as a cutscene, not a reason to play versus it feels out of context. So, so that's where it landed.
Yeah, they gave you 3 trailers. I think one of them dived a little bit into combat, and like, you're not as secluded, and this one is like, you're secluded. What's happening? That
felt like in what was it, the second Star Wars sequel film where Rey is looking at the mirror and talking about who I am. That's exactly like a scene I felt like they were going with, and I'm like, okay, totally get it. But I know we're running along. Mark is getting tired and he's going to fall off. So I think we will skip the Capcom.
I'm gonna go
exactly.
Sleep.
Yeah, the Capcom showcase. I think we'll skip that because there was nothing there really. So
awful.
Nothing there.
Awful,
yeah, it was not a good conference. Ubisoft Forward. Beyond that, I will say there were really only 3 surprises. Prince of Persia.
Oh. Yeah.
We got the Assassin's Creed VR game, which would just no gameplay, which was disappointing. Mirage, we saw more of that game. And then we saw a mobile game that looked like a Ninja Warriors game. Assassin's Creed, lots of huge hits with their classic characters joining them. We got Motorsport, the Crew Motorsport, which was a game I thought already came out, to be honest. We got Just Dance showing again. We got... I guess Rayman's joining Mario versus Rabbids. That was big. Let's see. What else am I missing? Because I know there's some cool things. We got Avatar. That was pretty cool. That is like Far Cry and Avatar combining to make a baby. And then we got, what was the last game that I really loved? Because we got the Prince of Persia. We already saw that as well. Oh, that's right. Star Wars. So I'm going to give it over to you, gentlemen, because you are the big Star Wars fans. I loved it. I thought that trailer was so good. I told Sean Nias, I said, watch this at the highest resolution you can because it's 10 minutes of glory. So take it away.
That's what it. Mark, you want to go first?
Yeah,
sure. I like I've been going first.
Yeah. Holy crap! Star Wars Outlaws looks so good. It's the seedy underbelly. It's in between Empire and Return of the Jedi. We see Han Solo frozen in carbonite briefly. There's just so much great stuff in this trailer. It's very different. I'm so glad that we got Jedi Survivor, and that was the over the top Jedi force powers, lightsabers, all that kind of stuff, because this one is ground level, gritty GTA in space. Like it's such a perfect companion piece for Star Wars lore as far as I'm concerned. I love the character, looks amazing. The little sidekick axolotl cat kind of Nyx looks amazing. Like new favorite Star Wars creature for sure. It showed off so well. It looks like an amazing game, and I cannot wait to play this one. It's
Yeah.
like I said, just it's such a great companion piece for Jedi Survivor, and very different kind of areas in Star Wars, very different takes on it. High level, ground level. It's going to be amazing. It looks awesome. Joe,
Yeah.
how you feeling?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to great companion piece, because this is similar to Jedi Survivor in many ways, right? Like this is a third person action over the shoulder. This one's more open world than Survivor
Yeah.
for sure, but like you had the perspective of a Jedi, and now you're having a perspective of a smuggler. That's where I'm completely in, because my favorite type of character in Star Wars is not the Jedi, it's not the Sith, it's the people that are in between.
Mm.
It's smugglers, like Mandos, like those are the type of characters that I vibe with the most. So like my favorite character in Star Wars is Han Solo, because he's having fun. You know what I mean? So like I think K Voss, I think is her name. Or yeah.
Yes.
K is having fun. Like she's quirky, she's she's a shit talker just like Han is. Like she has all the elements of what we know a smuggler to be, like quick-witted and all that. um I am, again, as a huge Star Wars fan, I need to also preface this. Huge Star Wars fan. This is the game I've always wanted, and it's made by
Mm.
a really good studio. So that's where I get completely sold on it, because you're a smuggler, you're raiding a Pike facility for probably spice, and you're having these shootouts that, like, one guy puts out a shield and then you switch your blaster to make it so that it distorts their shield so you could give a good whack at them. Like you're having firefights with folks. You're telling
Yeah.
Nix to go grab you an assault weapon on the ground so you can, kill the guys at range and then speed away. And then all of a sudden you get a call from your buddy going, okay, so that job, we can't work with the Pikes for a while. And after that call ends, you see the reputation with the Pikes have gone down. It's like this RPG mechanic that I love, because you're just a shitty smuggler playing all sides so well. And then
Yeah.
like you have like the negotiation scene where you're negotiating with like an Imperial spy and a Mon Calamari right there, and you're like the Imperial spy's like, well, you know what? I'll let you slide if you pay the tax. And you're like, hell with you, I ain't gonna pay the tax. So as you walk out of the cantina, you, you all of a sudden, bam, you're wanted, and you see your name on the screen. You're like, we got to go. And
Yeah.
then what I thought was like, okay, this was a good trailer. This is it. It's over. And I love our buddy Dutch in the chat going, when we were watching this live, going, oh no, dude. I'm like, what do you mean no? And as we're flying out, and I'm like, okay, so we're gonna hit a cutscene like Starfield. This is great. No, no, we're in space.
Yeah.
We're flying out there, and it becomes, you know, one of my favorite games. Shadows of the Empire had those awesome space sequences as well. So like, I am on a planet. I am flying out of the atmosphere into the goddamn space, and I'm having like firefights with like TIE interceptors. Like this is my dream video game. Like
Yeah.
again, playing Shadows of the Empire as a 6-year-old kid, just mind blown. This is what happened again here as a 31-year-old man. My mind is blown. Star Wars is so dang cool. This was my game of the entire show. Like, forget Ubisoft. Like, Starfield's cute. I love it. Like, Final Fantasy Rebirth, that's cute. Whatever. This right here, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, y'all. This is my dream Star Wars game. So
Yeah.
I am, and you can see me on the trophy room reacting screen, just being really giddy, because like I'm seeing it. Like I'm just, it's life. Star Wars is life. I love it. Loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Stellar.
Me too. Game of the show for me, like the
Yeah.
game of the weekend, whatever you want to call it. Like amazing. And that's like, yes, I run a Star Wars podcast, have a Star Wars tattoo. Yes, I love Star Wars. It's life. But I'm also a very, very big Assassin's Creed fan. And you're putting me inside the Animus in a VR set.
There.
Cool. Mirage going back to its roots. awesome. A mobile game that doesn't look like a gotcha mechanic like piece of shovelware, amazing.
Awesome.
Let's go. Assassin's Creed's firing on all cylinders. We got a weird little song from Skull and Bones that I thought was freaking hilarious because that game's just vaporware. But like Star Wars Outlaws, just pack it up and go home. Like so good. So good. Todd,
so good.
How you feeling as like the Star Wars critic of all critics?
I wasn't after playing Jedi Survivor. I'm like, I don't know if I need another Star Wars game because I don't know what they're going to do because I love that game so much. And then what they said is like, oh, we're just going to make an Uncharted game. Thank you. Please do. Plus, you're going to be doing, all these cool things with the companion. You can tell them what to do. Then you're going to be out in space with space combat. Then you're going to be doing driving a vehicle and shooting things. So I'm like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to give me experiences I haven't had forever in a Star Wars game. So thank you very much because I love Star Wars is great to watch. It's best to play. And that's where I feel. I want to be in that universe and doing things. It's great. 10 minutes. It looks beautiful. Watch it on the highest resolution you can. It's great. All I will say is, though, Ubisoft needs to invest in better cameras, better production for their showcase because it feels like this was 2010 and not 2023. And it was clunky and weird. And it was an odd showcase, but there was something for everybody. They had a lot there. And Mark, as an Assassin's Creed fan, you got to be eating good because you're getting VR, you're getting mobile, and you're getting the basically a throwback to something you haven't had for many, many years. So congratulations to you.
Yeah. Nexus VR instantly like wish listed on my Quest 2. Like I am ready to go with Assassin's Creed.
Where's the gameplay though?
Star Wars would have been good, but like they showed Star Wars, so
yeah. Yeah, I just was disappointed they didn't show gameplay of the VR game, and they said that. I'm like, is it going to be a game where you're puking?
Gameplay, and it's so hard to show off VR without being in VR. And I find, especially on Quest, where you're running on mobile hardware, and I've never seen a Quest game really, really show well. But when you're in it and you're immersed in it, it's like, this is amazing. Good. I am fully in this world. And then you see a trailer of it and you're like, that looks like the most blocky N64 shit I've ever seen. Yeah. But like, why does it feel so good to be inside that world? So
honestly, after playing Call of the Mountain, this is I have no doubts. This is gonna be great. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hope they pull it off. Yeah, and I hope it comes to PSVR too. Don't just keep it on one platform. Let everybody play. Yeah. Very good. Well, that is it. We kind of made all of our announcements, but we want to hit really quick. This is what our Patreons said and our members of Discord said really quick. I'll take Famous Seamus. He says, as for the games excited for, of course, Persona 3 Reload, Persona 5 Tactica are on the top of my list. Others include the new Prince of Persia, Avatar, Star Wars Outlaws, Starfield, not Stanfield, Assassin's Creed Mirage, 33 Immortals, Clockwork Revolution, MK1, Spider-Man 2 release date, and Alan Wake 2. The Winter Gamer said there's honestly a crazy amount to be excited about. Also, I'm 1,000,000,000% down for Star Wars Outlaws, which seems to be a Star Wars Red Dead Redemption 2, which has been my dream idea in my head. I need to rewatch and catch up because I was dealing with a sick child and brother's bachelor weekend. Good luck. I saw that he was on a bus that broke down and he wasn't getting where he needed to go. So hopefully he made it. Man, we are eating good, gentlemen. E3 is dead, but what we're getting right now is more so than maybe we ever got. We missed Nintendo, but PlayStation already happened. So it's been a crazy, crazy time. And there are more games than we have time to play. So, Joe, it's late.
Yeah, it is.
Give us your proclamation of awesomeness.
A proclamation of awesomeness. Listen, gang, y'all. Hi, my name is Joseph, a.k.a. Mr. Badbit on Twitter. You can catch all the zany stuff I do over there. Please stop yelling at me so much. And if you are going to send me hate mail, at least just spell it right, okay? Jeez Louise. This past week has been bonkers. It's been crazy. But honestly, video games are just amazing and firing on all cylinders. You can watch this week's episode of the Trophy Room live on Wednesday night at PS Trophy Room on YouTube. You can watch or catch us on all your podcast feeds over at the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, this week we'll also be summarizing all the greatness shown at Summer Games Fest. We'll also be deep diving into the Final Fantasy 16 opening impressions. And then next week afterwards, just to keep you guys hooked, we'll be interviewing Ben Starr, the lead actor of Final Fantasy 16. It's a 49-minute interview of just pure greatness. The man is a gosh dang treat. And we've been hanging on to that for a month because Ubisoft has been secretly pointing a gun at us under the table. So
Ubisoft is holding back Squaresoft?
We're really excited to share it. And anything I say more, I'm afraid.
All right.
They're holding a picture of my family at that.
Be better, Squaresoft. Yes, be better.
Exactly.
That's an awesome, Joe. Congrats. You guys are doing great things.
Fantastic.
So many reviews being awesome. We love you. Keep doing awesome things.
Thanks.
Yes.
I'll try.
Mark, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me everywhere as at _Canardian. That's it. That's any platform you're on. I'm probably there too. So hit me up.
For me, Teoxtra on Twitter primarily, and just once again, check out secretfriendsunite.com for all our stuff. Check out at secretfriendsu for the latest we have coming up, and our Patreon group at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite to see all the cool stuff we're doing there and get yourself a free trial. And if you want to join us, go to our Discord group, and we'll enjoy talking with you and having adventures in the world of video games. So this has been a journey. Joe, thank you. Mark,
Well,
thank you. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.